Check my stuff. So I must put this that's cool, y'all. Can't find my stuff. I got too many windows open. Disaster up in this bad boy. Feel like a DJ up in this dude. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play it again. So I'm gonna go ahead and play some music while everybody's waiting. Okay, that's better. Clear your heads, people. Shout out to Charles Willie. We got Brother Joe W in the building. Okay, so we'll have the music play for a minute, and then we're just gonna go ahead and start on the festivities, waiting for everybody to come in. Let's see. So, yeah, sorry for the. I always had that problem with that music, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So that's like a little quick one there. So what I'm probably most likely I'm just going to talk a little bit with the brethren on the panel. We're not going to get into it yet. And how's it going there, Miss? We'll say Miss Les because I don't know about the TMEC, but we'll just do a little dialogue until everybody gets here. So anything people want to share on the panel? Introduce yourselves or anything like that while you're waiting.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Lil Cass. People think I'm interesting or I'm a brother with some well-roundedness to it. I've just stated my opinions for the most part. What's going on, Art? How you been doing?
Been doing, huh? I have
less. Heard from you in a while.
I have less of a cough, so I'm a little better. Chewing less garlic.
Is that Epic on there?
Yep. What's going on, man?
What's going on, dude? Oh my gosh, we got Dr. G. Hallelujah. Now I don't got to say nothing.
Hello, beautiful black people.
Hey, what's going on, beautiful sister? How you doing?
Doing well today.
Greetings.
You see in the building, we got a nice little well-rounded panel right now. So I give it another 2 minutes. But
okay.
And just talk amongst yourself while everybody's coming into the chat as well. So
okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey, DC.
Oh yeah.
You.
Oh.
Hey, I've been tuning in, bro. I've been tuning in.
Good, man.
Oh, DC, I ain't even know your channel's up and running real good yet, man. I'm not throwing.
Oh my gosh, we got LAR. Praise Jesus. I really don't have to say that.
We got LAR in the building too.
LAR, man. Peace.
Up in this motherfucker now. Excuse me for cussing.
I want y'all nut back. Okay, give us the real, the stinky, the whole deal.
And this
a lot of movement.
Looking like a lot of Pookie and Ray Rays went to college. That's what it looks like to me.
A lot of movement. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, brother LAR?
Nothing. Just getting out of Pookie and Ray Ray Institute.
Get your Pookie and Ray Ray on, fam.
Oh yeah, people talk bad about Pookie and Ray Rays all the time. I'd like to explain to brothers that when you go to the military, it be the Pookies and Ray Rays that be joining though. Honestly,
Even though I teach college and I got a lot of Pookie and Ray Rays in the classroom, so you know
Just gotta, man, direct that energy they got to the right location, man. The boys good.
that's what I'm talking about.
That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
so what I'm gonna do then, since we have a nice little well-rounded panel here, we might as well just get started. That's cool with everybody?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so question would be, and everybody got the questions too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so give you some time to think about it.
Yes, sir. Got the syllabus. Got the syllabus.
All right. Okay. Well, no makeup quiz either. No. Okay. How how did you get to know? I mean, how can I say it? Why did you decide to go to college anyway?
Well, me personally, I decided to go to college after doing my time in the military because I knew right after high school if I would have went to college, it just would have been a waste of time and a waste of money. I would have been focused on the females more than my education, so it just would have been a bad place. So after I viewed the world a little bit and getting started getting interested in other cultures going around the world and stuff like that, and I was looking into the history behind it because that's my degree. I'm getting a bachelor's in arts and science in history. Arts and degree in history, excuse me. So when I started looking into other cultures and stuff like that and looking at their history, it kind of started painting a bigger picture for me towards the world. And I started noticing myself Googling stuff, always getting books about history, not just only about Black people. So I decided, it was very powerful when I started to talk to people and stuff like that, and they was very interested in the stuff I knew, and I was just interested in myself. So I just decided after the Army, go and get my bachelor's in history, and here I am. Now I just want to teach young Black boys because that knowledge is so powerful. It transforms the young Black boys.
Yeah, cool. Anybody else want to tackle that one?
I went to college because, I didn't go to college. I went to vocational school, but further my education was basically peer pressure of my family. I do regret not going to college for the most part because you find yourself later on in life, you realize that things would be a lot easier for you. You have a lot more opportunities as opposed to the specific fields that I find myself in.
Okay. Next person.
Dr. G, you want to go?
But I will say this here is that
Hello.
Education now, for reasons I will tell is that every brother and sister, it is imperative that you get an education in some form. And I would definitely tell everybody take 2 years of college at least. Do at least 2 years. At least get your associates, because in this society now, it is almost for anything you're going to do now, you're going to need a degree, because of most of the low end jobs, or they call the low skill jobs, those are going to become obsolete. Those are highly obsolete now. They're really scarce depending on where you're at, But I will say this here, that vocational, I will say that there are some pros and cons to vocational.
So we'll get into that. Dr. G, LAR, or DC, anybody want to tackle, why did you choose to go to college?
Well, I mean, it's twofold for me. I chose to go to college because, number one, I wanted to play ball, and that's football for me. I went to a inner city high school, and I was told that I wasn't actually smart enough to go to college, that I needed to pick up a trade or go to the military. That's what my counselor actually told me. Literally told me. I think it'd be best if you don't actually pass your SATs or the ACT. I don't know how old everybody is on the panel, but the SAT and the ACT was real important as far as your entrance into colleges during the 90s, So, yeah, that was kind of my story. I didn't actually do that well on my entrance exams, but I was pretty good at the athletic thing, that the coach kind of worked with me, and that's how I got to school. But I guess we're going to get into the further, how school was and everything further down the line. But that's sort of what my whole thought was when I went to college. So it was pretty purely athletics at first for me.
Okay. LAR, Dr. G.
Okay, hey you guys, apologize. I'm kind of moving around. But how did I go to college, or why did I decide? My mom pretty much, since I was a little bitty girl, when she would talk, and we talked daily because there was a long commute ride home, and those conversations would be filled about how important it is that I got a good education. She saw that as a way for me to not have to withstand some of the pressures and things that she went through. She felt like if I was sufficiently educated or well educated, I could take care of myself, I could be self-sufficient, and I wouldn't have to depend on a man, to be honest. So for me, I've been hearing about college and the importance of it since I was a little bitty girl. My mom was a blue collar worker, and she ended up retiring from Teamsters after 35 years. So she did very well for herself without college. But for her, when I was younger, she felt like that would be a way that I could be self-sufficient and, take care of myself without having to depend on anyone, but particularly a man. So that's pretty much why I went.
Wow. And then the great LAR, you can end off on that question.
I'm gonna make it simple because I'm actually out and about. So I went to college because of sport. My older cousin went to college, and I wanted to, be like him. And because I wanted to get out of my neighborhood, and I figured college was a good way to expand my horizons and get out of that type of neighborhood. So it was pretty much simple for me.
Okay. What were your majors? Who wants to start that out? What was your major? Matter of fact, let me do better than this. What was your major? Because I'm gonna mix some of these questions. What was your major? And since you chose your major, were you like changing? I mean, were you changing it or thinking about changing it? How did that go? Who's first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So initially, when I was going to college, I enrolled to go to nursing school. So I went to the community college, and I realized within the first semester that wasn't the route for me. So I quickly withdrew and enrolled into an HBCU, Harris Stowe State University here, to major in secondary education. So my bachelor's degree is secondary education with emphasis in English. I was a high school English teacher. My master's degree is education administration, and my doctorate degree is educational leadership.
Okay, who gonna top that?
Nobody has to, because let's talk about the debt.
We'll get to that after that.
Right. So don't feel compelled to have to top that unless you got a solution for that debt. And so, yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay. So who's next?
Well, I don't think I'm trying to top that far as in my field, getting my bachelor. So I know I can't top that. So I salute to you on that, Dr. G. But yeah, but even though, like I said, my major is history, I'm also getting my minor in psychology. And I wasn't planning on that at first until I actually got into college because I wanted to learn more stuff about myself. After I took introduction to psychology after that first class, that's when I was really learning about myself. So in that minor in that is something, just more self-analyzing. I caught when I started finding myself analyzing people, not to say placing judgment, but I just be quiet a lot now, and I just observe a lot of people that's in my presence, even the way they move, because 75% of communication is nonverbal. So it was very interesting to seeing the way people move versus the way they talk, and you will start noticing how many hypocrites is actually out here. So Yeah, that's what I got as far as right now. And right now I'm just in a program called From Boys to Gentlemen. We started out here in Memphis, Tennessee. And we run background checks on brothers. It's just, to be their mentors and stuff like that. And this what I'm doing this for, because it's one thing for me to tell young brothers, hey, go do this and go do this, and you can get this and get that. But how about I be that walking example of it and let them know this ain't nothing compared to what you can do. So you ask me personally, I started kind of late because I didn't have that guidance. I had to pretty much learn it on my own, even though me and my dad was tight, but he wasn't there the way I believe he could have did some stuff better. But hey, nobody's perfect. He taught me the stuff I knew now. So it varies from each person, but that's my story.
Okay. DC, LAR, Lil Cass.
Yeah, just real quick. I'm a poli-sci major, and I changed my minor to sociology. It was psychology for me, but I was always interested in studying groups of people in large environments and kind of around the world. So that was something that I was always interested in. Believe it or not, I almost changed my actual major to philosophy. I was really into that when I got to school. So, but yeah, poli-sci.
Electronic engineering. No, I don't use it. But the thing is, I started working in education, and it is useful. I will say this here much is that, like I said, when it comes down to opportunities other places, I do regret not just getting a formal education.
Okay. LAR.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, brother.
Okay, I got my degree in psychology. I actually picked my major like when I was in high school because I had like 4 of my favorite classes was psychology, physics, chemistry, and biology. So the one that I liked the most is the one that I wound up going to college with. So that's how I wound up getting into it.
Okay.
And plus I played sports, so it's kind of getting used to dealing with people and dealing with the mind, and sometimes you got to talk people up and talk people down and all that other stuff. So I kind of gravitated to it.
We got some jocks up in here. All right, so now we're gonna get to the fun part. How was your tuition funded?
Well, I used the military GI Bill. I took out a couple of loans, a couple of semesters, but I ain't trying to get too deep up in that. But the GI Bill pays 100%. Well, right now I'm not even using my GI Bill. I'm using another program the VA got called Vocation Rehabilitation for soldiers that leave the military. And they pay 100% of your books, 100% of your tuition, and they pay you an allowance every month to actually go to school. So that's basically my full-time job when I'm in school, because that's how they pay me as a full-time job. So that's how I got mine. That's how I got mine done. The military was a big come up for me.
Man, mine was so I had like a partial scholarship. Like I said earlier, I didn't really do good in high school to pass the SAT or the ACT. That changed for me once my second semester rolled around, and then I got my full scholarship. But I did work study for my first semester. So I was working and then, got a partial grant. That's what they call it, a partial grant during my first semester of college. Yeah. So I had to sit in the gymnasium until, just like everybody else, all the athletes already had their dorms, and I'm sitting up there in the gymnasium with everybody else trying to get their books and all that. So all that wasn't paid for. So I had to pay for all that. So it was rough.
Wow. Okay. LAR, Lil Cass, how did you pay for your education?
Loans. Lots and lots of loans. Lots and lots of loans. I'm just kidding. No, I paid mine through loans. I was able to pay off a portion of it. Part of the beautiful thing is that because I am also a public employee, a portion of that will be expunged in about 3 more years.
Hmm, okay. Uh, LAR.
Mine is a bunch of stuff. I a small part student loan. A part my grandmother gave me money to go to school. Partial scholarships from sport, and I worked like a night shift to pay for everything as I was going through at a certain point in time. So I didn't have much when I graduated. I had like $3,000 worth of student loan debt. So I looked at school as a business before I even went. So that's how I did it.
Okay. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. People fail not to get into like an investment. We have a new sister here on the panel here. Could you let us know who you are and do you have college experience? And
Hi, my name is Zakia. Yes, I've actually I have a master's as well as my bachelor's. I have a bachelor's in business administration with a focus on managing information systems, and then I have a master's in information systems with a concentration on managing e-business.
okay, all right. And how was your education funded?
Oh, sweat and tears and loans.
So it seemed like most of us have experience on the more of a more loans than anything. Dr. G, did you answer the question? Were you the first one to answer the question, Dr. G?
No, but
Okay.
I was funded. I got um, a very small scholarship, and that was earned after I got into school, after I got into college. Um, I exhausted my grants. I was eligible for Pell Grant, totally exhausted it, and so then everything else after was loans.
Okay. Now, the other one what we want to tackle is, was college for you easy or difficult? Well, you want me to just go like name the names like the other shows?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go down. I'll just go down here. So DC, was college easy or difficult for you?
Well, believe it or not, for me, college was really the first time that I actually, I guess, in a way, got formally educated. So it was a lot easier for me once I got my focus down. So I just had to get my schedule together, and it was I transitioned quicker than a lot of my my freshman compadres because they was just into doing all the things that I did primarily in high school. So I got a lot of my partying and all that out before I actually even got to college. So a lot of the things I did, I was really, really serious because I barely got in. And plus, if I made anything less than, a 3.0, I was out of school. That was the agreement. Like, if you don't bust your tail, then that's it. So I didn't know anything else but the grind. I got me a study room on the third floor of my library and school, and that was DC's room. Hey, come join if you want to study and or whatever. We could joke, toss it up or whatever, and then we can go from there. But yeah, man, right after I go to the caf, hit the study room. That's what I would do. Practice, study, whatever. So
Ooh, Dr. G.
School overall has always been pretty easy for me. I'm not an A student per se, but I pretty much earned B's all through, and that's all the way through my doctorate. Once I focus on something and commit myself to it, it comes pretty easy. What I will say though, for my undergrad, since I was actually doing a bachelor's degree in secondary education with English emphasis, it came exceptionally easy because I love to read, and there's a heavy emphasis on learning literature and reading for that particular content area. So it was very easy, and I actually enjoyed it because I was able to focus on something that I enjoyed, which was reading various literatures. Now, what I regret is that literature didn't really expand my knowledge of Black writers and people of color. It's mostly the late greats. That's what I regret about it. But yeah, no, it came fairly easy to me because I love to read. I'm a reader, and that was pretty much what you do to become an English teacher. You have to know the literature.
Okay. Brother Epic?
I kind of agree with I agree with what Dr. G said and DC. I had to get my focus down because when I started, it was fairly easy for me. At that point, I wasn't going through a divorce or anything like that, and I'm seeing my children every day, so it was a lot of motivation behind me. But I say around my second semester, my father died, and I started going through a divorce. And it comes to all the court fees and all the baby mama drama and stuff. So I had to. I actually dropped out a semester and came back in because I had to get my focus back up, get my motivation back up. 'Cause I was going through a lot, but when I am in college and depending on the subject, yes, it comes pretty easy for me most of the time. But some subjects be so dry to me, like before you get to your core classes, everybody got to do some mandatory classes just for your degree in general. And some of them subjects I can't lie, it was a couple of subjects I kind of made some low C's on, but it's, college been pretty downhill for me, pretty chill because the professors when they see you putting in your effort, they pretty much help you try to get through it, especially at the University of Memphis because at the end of the day, college is a business, and then they know if you just start failing kids, failing people, their numbers going to go down. And if a lot of people is feeling the college, the numbers going down, and the college is not getting as much money as they used to. So it's been, I understand all that the business aspect too. So I say to me, it's been pretty easy, bro.
Okay. Brother LAR.
For me, it was fairly easy, but because for one, I was a latchkey kid before I went to college, and I was an athlete, so I never was just a student. Never. So I was accustomed to a regimen of like waking up before everybody, getting stuff done before everybody, then going to class. Then after class is over, studying while everything is going, and then going doing something else, and then going to work. So to me, the school was very easy because I knew how to balance the time out to get everything done. So it was a point where I was homeless, like my last year and a half, and I basically did everything by memory and taking notes because I couldn't afford books. So the education part wasn't as difficult as some people would think.
For the low cast.
Discipline. Man, I don't even know where to begin. It was a 50-50 challenge for me at first because I wasn't disciplined at first, but after a while, after you start to take it a little bit more serious and you start to put in extra time, I didn't have too many problems after that. But I will say this much is that because of I don't like to talk too much about my own personal life too much, as y'all know, but already had my own problems when it came down to education, but it did help me overcome a lot of those things.
Okay. Sister Zakia.
Um, I want to say this. I guess when I first started off, like for my bachelor's, it was I was really focused, so I was doing well. And then at some point in time, I got distracted in the middle of my education, which caused me to kind of go through a little bit of turbulent type of things. And that was like with that bachelor's. But when I got into my master's program, I successfully completed that with no problem. And it might have been because in between my master's and my bachelor's, I was already working in the field of information systems. So I knew a lot about it. So having that knowledge and actually having that skill set already, it helped me a lot with my masters. I didn't have any issues with the masters. The masters I did exceptionally well, but that bachelor's, oh my gosh, that might be a a little bit of a story, but it I got it done.
Wow. I might have a so I'm taking that the people that had their masters, they had to do dissertations and things of that nature.
My master's wasn't that difficult, actually. It was a little bit different here. I went to DePaul University, so and then it was an online program that was incorporated with actually going to the school. So yeah, it was a little bit different there.
Okay, because I might want to get into that too. It's like a bachelor's panel or a master's panel, because that's because that master's another animal, and the PhD programs. That's another animal too, man. But but the other part. Let's see. Now, did anyone have anyone doubt their abilities before, or for successfully completing college? Anybody had anyone tell you that this is not for you? I don't think this is you cut out for this.
For me, no. I come from a well-rounded family. No, everybody knew I had it, but it was just with me personally. Is that where I was really lacking the issue? Like I said, I don't really want to talk about it too much, but I did have a personal problem with it. Well, let's keep it real. I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic. But it did have its challenges, you know. But I never had any family members who ever discouraged me from doing it and said you couldn't do it, because most people in my family graduated from college anyway.
Cool.
Okay. For the LAR.
No, people do not talk to me like that because you might get slapped in the mouth. So,
Wow.
so it's one of those things where if I say I'm gonna do something, it's probably gonna get done, and I don't want to hear your mouth about it. So yeah, I'm sorry. That's the best way I can say it.
Okay, I told y'all not to hold nothing back, so it's all good. Brother Epic.
Well, I wouldn't. Well, nobody never said nothing like that to my face. Supposed I didn't got into it with one of my English professors when I first started. I think he was kind of racist in a way. He was saying, I started going to college around 28, 29 years old, and he said some shady. It was kind of shady towards me. He was we had a one-on-one meet. He was like, I know you feel kind of bad since you 28 years old and you in college with these younger kids and stuff like that. And what came to my mind,
Wow.
what came to my mind, I said, what the hell made that come out your goddamn mouth, man? Exactly what I told him. And I actually had dropped his class after that. And after I talked to the dean and stuff, let him know, hey, this man got a problem. But anyway, I ain't had too many people just really tell me now, because I'm a loner and I don't really too much care about people's opinions in a way, and I don't too much talk to people.
Okay. Dr. G.
No, I never had any problems like that. But I did when I was actually in college, in undergrad. I bumped into my 7th grade teacher, and I was so excited to see her. Part of the reason why I decided to go into education was because of my middle school teachers, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They had such a profound impact on my life. I'll never forget them. And so that's part of the reason why I decided to major in education. But I ran into her, Miss Reynolds, and I told her, I'm at Harris Stowe and I'm, getting my bachelor's degree in education. And I was so excited. And she was like, why are you doing that? She was like, why are you studying education? And I'm like, because I want to. She was like, girl, you could have done 50,000 things. Education should have been one of them. I was like, wow. So I have a career professional telling me that I should have gone a different route other than education.
Okay.
And it wasn't because of my ability. It was just because of the field itself.
Yeah, that's deep. See, people don't understand how, people get these sneak disses from, well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Well, brother DC, what say you, brother?
Yeah, I think I already kind of brought it up already. I had a high school counselor that well, let me be. Well, I don't know how in depth. Are we going to go into how we got to college and everything, or just
Yeah,
'Cause
whatever,
I don't want to get too in deep into this like a whole story or whatever.
whatever
So,
you want to share, and I might have to just
well, yeah, just real quick then. So, my older brother preceded me at the high school, but he did not finish school. So I had an older cousin and an older brother that was kind of like they terrorized the school. So my counselor, which is weird because her and my mother are part of the same sorority, but she just thought that whatever whatever was going on in our household, it just basically passed down to me. So she used to tell me my whole senior year, literally, hey, have you thought about going to the military? Have you thought about getting a trade? And I said, well, I haven't really thought about that. And then when I told my mom, uh, you know, she was just like, I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, she had me kind of questioning, my whole aptitude as far as like education. I was thinking that maybe what school wasn't for me. Because like I said, I wasn't the best student. I got bored with school, especially in high school. You know what I'm saying? I hung out, I skipped school a lot. I really didn't hang out with the real bad kids, but I went to an all inner city school, so it wasn't that hard to kind of get through it. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where I kind of like just lucked up and got to school. So, but yeah, I don't really want to get too deep into it, but that's part of what went on with me.
Okay.
Can I say something real quick, Art?
Yes, ma'am.
Just about what the brother just said. So he said, I really wasn't the best student, right? And many of us come away from the educational system, the public educational system, feeling like there's a deficit with us, when really, and what I know after 20 years, it's not a deficit with us, it's a deficit with the system.
Yes, ma'am.
It's no
Amen.
deficit with us. We're going into the system and expecting people who don't even know who we are and don't care to know to be able to teach us the way that we learn, right? And to affirm us for who we are. It just won't happen. And many times, and I find this to be often true with the Black male, the way the system is designed is not congruent with the way you learn. So rather than you being not a good student, I want you to change that thinking. Even now, today, after an adult, after you've gone through it and it's over and done, I want you to change that mindset, because it wasn't about you as much as it was about the system. It was not created for us and for the way that we learn, for the way we speak, or any of that.
Dr. G would have been my mom. So my mom was like, you take your ass to school whether you like it or not. that was the whole thing, and the thing was, you're already good at what you do, so you just gotta have a degree behind it. So we had to pick the best school, not just no Rudy Booty school, but the best school, and it paid off. But we'll get into that further. But Sister Zakia, you want to tackle the question?
Okay, with that, no, I never was discouraged about school. Like I knew that was just my rite of passage. My mom was the first generation of college students. She had graduated with her bachelor's, and she went on for her master's when I was a little bit older. So I just knew that was what I had to do as well. So, and nobody ever told me I couldn't do it or anything like that. So I was, yeah, that was
Okay.
just my rite of passage there to go to school and do what I had to do.
Okay. Seem like a lot of people had support. Now, now the question would be, was there any competition? Did you have to work with competition there while you were in school?
I answer that one. Far as competition is, I'm at the University of Memphis. Most definitely competition, and I won't necessarily say competition as in other students, much so, because students seem to work with each other. Don't get me wrong, we compete in some of the same fields, trying to get jobs at the end of the day. But it seems like a student not gonna be a very good student we don't have a good teacher. You know, they proved that psychologically that when some teachers, or you could say professors in our case, when they teach certain students or certain people with the enthusiasm they use, the student gets better. And some professors and teachers, they don't, I guess, try to teach certain people the way they'll treat the next and stuff like that, man. So, that's kind of tricky, man. So it's kind of tricky. Dr. G, can you hit up on that one for me, please?
Well, I wonder if you could be more specific. Competition from where? Where would that?
Okay, like me, for example, I'm a history major, and I study history all the time. And I noticed that I know more history than the average white person, as far as what I've been seeing anyway. Then when I'm in classrooms, I'm answering stuff, and I'm even correcting the professor on certain stuff like that, and I can give them references and stuff like that. That type of competition where, especially me being a young black man, where they feel threatened by your intelligence.
Okay, so Art, is that what you meant when you said competition? Were you referring to competition between students or?
Yeah, it would have to be with your peers.
With your peers. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of confused. Okay, so I got it. Well, yeah, I went to a HBCU. So yeah, we were all in competition, but it was a healthy competition. And I
Yeah.
think even in the end, we would help each other. You know, when it got down to the end, nobody was sacrificing anyone trying to be better, but we knew who excelled in what classes and we leaned on them. But absolutely, we were competing with each other. But it was a healthy competition.
Okay.
Wow.
Zakia?
Okay, with mine's per se, I had more competition when I was working on my let me say this, I went to 2 different schools for my bachelor. The first school I went to was very diverse and it had huge classrooms, the University of Illinois at Chicago. So with that, it wasn't as competitive because you didn't hardly know anyone in those classes because of how diverse it was. When I went to Chicago State, which was a smaller school here in Chicago, it was much different. Of course, we did a lot more competitive type of learning. But it was like in a healthy way where we were just trying to help each other do the best that we can do. So I love that whole experience. We were all looking out for each other. So yeah, with that competition, that was great as well. And it actually helped me personally to do my best more than being lost in the crowd with the huge classroom where it's like over 100 people in the lecture hall and you just one out of the 100, so yeah, that competitiveness really helped me.
Okay, so it shaped you. Okay.
Definitely.
Wow. LAR?
Yes. It was a competition, but not educationally. Like me and the people that I ran with, we kind of looked at a competition as far as life, because when we got to the campus, we saw a lot of people from different families. It wasn't exactly our age and our peers. We saw people coming from affluent families and poor families. And we started like, okay, if I want to I got to work to have a better life than this person, I'm going to have to do more because I came from this background and I did. So as far as like, educationally, everybody helped each other. Athletically, everybody helped each other. I think the competition started being about, I need to get to a certain place in life.
Uh-oh. All right. Do you guys hear LAR Borgen?
Yeah, Borgen a little bit.
My apologies. Tell me if you can hear me now.
Yeah, I hear.
Okay.
Basically, I was saying academic or athletic, it was more so family and economic.
Okay.
College let you know where you stood economically and where you wanted to be, because you saw other people who had better families. I saw other people who had better families than I did.
Okay. So LAR, when you find Sean Connor, don't kill him, okay? Okay. No, I'm joking. Then we got DC.
You.
You
So
know,
competition for me, man, it was all about the football field at that particular time, trying to, find my place on the team, get into the know, kind of get into the pecking order about, what's what. Um, quick story, man. Right when I was moving in into my room, the guy that was playing the same spot that I was playing was like the room adjacent to mine, and he was just like, "Oh, so I guess you here to take my spot?" And I was like, "Yeah, if your spot is here to be took, it's going to be took." So that was the competition that I dealt with. As far as academics, man, I mean, like I said, it was totally different experience for me. Um, I sort of like just flourished academically in college. I had a good mentor, so I didn't have any issues when it came down to that. And as far as like I guess who had money, who didn't have money. I mean, I guess that was part of it too, but it wasn't really that big of a deal at the school that I went to.
okay. Lowcast.
Oh Lord. Um, I'll say this here. I had some major insights that I didn't understand until I got older. And yeah, there was competition, and mainly it came from that white male. Um, Personally, I was never aware of really how talented I was or how talented I am. And some people could see that, but I didn't really see it for myself. And to me, it just seemed like general knowledge. You kind of get where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. I noticed that a lot of times when there were projects we would work on and trying to associate yourselves with, dare I say it, with other people who who could definitely get a leg up or help you get a leg up, usually the white males, they don't want to work with you. And I would say this here too, is that because I have that non-conformist type personality where, I'm not accept me as I is, but more of just accept me for who I am. And this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. They don't like that sometimes. And it even showed up sometimes even when it came down to even to the school itself, where they would offer outside projects, contracts to mainly white males. The black males rarely ever got them. Now the cool thing about it, I could work with the brothers, but the brothers always seem to not have an understanding of what the material was or how the project should work. You kind of get where I'm going. They never really had too much of a in-depth idea, understanding of the concepts. Am I making sense to y'all?
Most definitely, brother.
Oh, but no, I got really, really quiet. That's why. But later on in life, I realized that when it comes down to competition in this world, that you realize that people do see the competitiveness edge aspect of things, as opposed to where I just wanted to join a group. I wanted to be a part of something, that they see the competition in it. It came to how you question and answers, those type of things. You start to realize that sometimes you do intimidate people and you're just not aware of it.
Oh man.
That's all I got to say on that.
Now, did anybody was anybody distracted or focused? I mean, how would you be able to tackle that one?
Curriculum wise, I would say I could easily find distractions, but when it came down to the hands-on projects, things where I could create my own projects, come up with my own ideas, I'd be intensely focused on those. When it came down to working with my hands, I was focused. But when it came down to I would say the reading, writing, and studying, not as much dedication and effort that I could put in towards the hands-on approach.
Okay, Sister Zakia.
I would say pretty much the same with the hands-on approach. That definitely worked best for me. More so than the other ways of learning, because I've always been a hands-on and more of a visual type of learner. So I like to see it or actually do it in order to learn in that type of manner.
Now, when I mentioned focus or distracted, I was going as far as the whole atmosphere in general. You got friends come in and try to take you away from your work, or is there any kind of lifestyle, or were you in a group of people
Oh,
that supported you in your learning?
but as far as with distractions, I had plenty of distractions. That's what I mentioned earlier with my bachelor's. So, and I think it was more so because I wasn't hands on with the work. I had to focus more when it wasn't hands on. I would let things easily distract me from getting work done. But as I spoke about my master's, coming in with my master's and being more focused and having more knowledge about what I was learning, and it being and I see the master's more so as being hands on, and what I've learned, it flowed easier. But as far as that bachelor's, they could say it was a party and it was a distraction for me. I'm sorry. It was just, um, and I'm going to say this because I've seen it, especially because I'm an educator here, and I've worked even in the public schools, and I've seen how, because we're taught that you're supposed to go to school right after you're finished with that, with your high school diploma. Your next thing is to go to school and do your bachelor's or do your associate's degree. But it's bad when you don't know which way you're going and don't have an idea of which way, the path that you want to take. So once you're thrown in there are so many distractions that come up because you're not focused when you come in the door. So yeah, that's what I can say to that.
Okay. Brother LAR,
Can you hear me better?
we can hear you, brother.
Okay. I was actually very focused because I looked at it. I looked at the curriculum and the cost of everything. So I looked at them in the class like how much it was going to cost me. So I kept pushing because I actually knew the price of everything. Ironically, it had little to do with the educational part, more of the financial part.
Okay. Brother Epic.
Distractions mostly came from me just from personal issues, man. And once I got past all that and got out my feelings about a whole bunch of certain stuff, I was able to I'm still going for my bachelor's right now, but I'm able to focus way more better and way more easier now for me. So it's it was depending on the situation, man. You got to use sometimes you got to use those same pretty much haters. You got to use them detrimental people to your advantage. They say you can't do it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make sure you eat those words at the end of the day. So that's how I look at it now.
Dr. G.
Boy, Art, you have a really, really great group of panelists here because I'm telling you, when I think distraction, I had all kind of distractions and I let it distract me. We kicked it in undergrad. I'm telling you, I remember I had to drop a class because this man was so sick of me being late to his class. I knew he was going to kill my grade for it. So I withdrew from that class and took it 2 semesters later because he was the only person that taught it and I didn't want him to remember my foolishness. Yes, I went to an HBCU and we kicked it. So I stayed distracted. Yes. And then outside of that, I went to school a little late. I was like 21, 22 because I had a child. So life had its distractions and then school, just trying to have the regular college life, offered its distractions. Yes, there was lots of distraction. And it's funny that I even made it through and then to continue on to a doctorate. That's how I know there's a most high God, because there was lots of things that could have took me off my path. But even though all those distractions were ever present, I was still able to continue going with my education. And I actually wanted to. I wanted to get that information and I wanted to keep on going and, get the top degree. But distractions, yes. Oh my gosh. And I was Greek. Oh my gosh. There was plenty of distraction. I mean, not was Greek. I am Greek, but I pledged in undergrad. Yes. Yes. Lots of distractions.
Okay. Brother DC. DC?
He probably stepped away for a minute.
Okay. Well, we're just going to we'll run on to the other thing. I'm gonna start going. I'm gonna skip some of these questions. Now the other thing too is, we I guess now we're going into the distraction part again. What was the pastime recreational routine like there in your college campus or just college life period?
I'm sorry, you already moved on. So I was stepped away for a second.
Yeah, like the question was that we left off on Brother DC was were you focused or distracted?
Well, like I said, I was focused, but I had my debauchery side too. So I mean, I did get it in, so to speak, in college. But yeah, I was about the focus though. I had to do things. I had to meet a certain requirement to get through. So later on, like through my undergrad, when I became an upperclassman, basically my junior and my senior year, then that's when I kind of went into the whole, just went buck wild a little bit, kind of did my little thing. But yeah, my first 2 years, I was so nervous about getting kicked out that, I just had to kind of like become the studious student. So, and like I said, that was my first introduction to really basically just kind of getting into the school thing, so.
Yeah, so speaking of getting it in, that's why I was asking before to the panel was like, what was the pastime recreational routine there? What was it like, when you're away from the books and all that kind of stuff? What else did you have to do there? Zakia?
I can refer back to Dr. G, like pretty much partying. That's what I did. I did a lot of partying undergrad. That's all I remember is partying.
Okay.
And I think between partying and kicking it, yeah, that's what prolonged my bachelor's program for me. Because I was so distracted partying and having fun, and because I guess that was the first taste of freedom that I actually had in my life, So, and
Did you stay in dorms?
Pardon me?
Did you stay on campus?
Yeah, partially. And when I say partially, I stayed in dorms one semester, and yeah, it was a wrap. But I was always still at the dorms because all my friends were at the dorms, so I would stay with them sometimes just to get away, and because we were partying.
Dr. G, I wanted to ask you real quick. What was you, AKA Delta what?
He's an SG Row. She's a poodle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that for me? Did I miss something?
Ma'am. I want to see
that
if
was
you was AKA Delta what?
No, of course not. I'm Sigma Gamma Rho.
I was just gonna say Sigma 2. Okay.
Of course, I'm not those other things. No, I'm just joking. I'm SG Row.
Okay, Lowcast. What was your pastime during those years?
Oh boy, you ever seen Players Club?
Well, you strip, man. You did.
No. I wasn't stripping. But if you ever seen Players Club, you might get an idea. But I was Uber before Uber, y'all. But no, actually, the thing was, I did a little bit of everything. For me, my pastime was basically hanging out with my friends, partying, I guess you could put it that way, and doing something constructive. I found myself doing other things, such as like working in the studios, among few things, and hanging out with the hustlers. That's being honest with you.
Brother LAR. Let me get my seat. Hold on.
No. You know what? I'm gonna keep it PG. Regular spades, dominoes, trash talking, chasing girls, chess, Madden tournament, Tekken tournament, pool, you know, and a whole bunch of other regular college shenanigans, you know, getting drunk and playing Monopoly, you know, starting water gun fights on the campus. And, you know, it's shenanigans. It's regular fun stuff.
Okay. Epic.
I believe honestly my biggest mistake as far as going to college was probably coming back to my home city and doing it after I got out the military, because I went in to get away from Memphis because you know, I was doing some crazy and wild shit when I was you know, before I had joined the military, and I came back. You know, even though I got a different mind state now, I still pretty much knew the same guys, that was down for me, for the set and everything when I was doing the thing. But that was like LAR said, man. It was I had to get away from a lot of the hustlers, man. My partners, they were still hustling, and you talking about women and smoking weed all the time and stuff, man. It caused a major distraction for me, whether I want to admit it or not. So once I separated myself, man, and just got all the way focused, yeah, I was mostly good. And especially being a newly bachelor at this, it's like, oh man, I'm at this college and all these young girls trying to get at me and all this, man. So yeah, I had to collect my discipline.
Man, I meant to put that in the questions about drug use in college, things that you guys witnessed. I don't know if y'all want me to add that in there today or maybe another panel. Let's see, Dr. G.
Yeah, we used to kick it. So I learned how to play dominoes in college. I learned how to play chess. I learned about East Coast rap music because I was not East Coast. I was totally West Coast, right? But I learned how to enjoy Wu-Tang and, those different groups that I would have never been exposed to because I just didn't listen to that music. I mean, I knew Biggie, I guess, but he went mainstream, so that was a little different. So I got exposed to different types of music, different people, just all kind of different stuff. I learned how to be social with a lot of different people, how to find myself able to socialize with, the elites and the people who come from the hood just like myself. Like I can get in any group, and it's because of that social activity when I was in undergrad.
Hey, brother DC. Brother DC.
Yo. No, I'm here. Man, pastime. So yeah, just like everybody else. I mean, I went to HBCU also. So we was in VA. So normally what we normally do, we just be finding out like, hey, on the weekends, if we had time, hey, are we heading to the beach? We had to Virginia Beach. Are we coming back home to the crib to DC? Are we heading down to North Carolina to just really act a fool or what? But that's, it was always something going on. I wasn't a big partier because, like I said, during the school, during the actual week, I kind of kept it straight to the business. But on the weekends is when I got my shenanigans in. So
yeah. So the other question is how did your hometown, friendships and environment change after college, or has it changed? That will go with Zakia. Zakia.
I can say this: a lot of the friendships that I had prior to going to college, um, a lot of them fizzled as far as in the areas in which I grew up in. I do have friends that were like, as we would call them, my day one friends that I met in high school that I'm still friends with today on like a best friend type of level. Um, and I do have several friends that I still communicate with that's that were in my high school and grammar school. But as far as in the neighborhoods in which I grew up, I don't have too many friends from those places because I can say this. I've always been at, like, growing up. I went to a private school, and then when I went to high school, I went to the #1 high school in the Chicagoland area. So a lot of the my so-called friends in those areas were going to the local high schools in those areas, and yeah, so when that pretty much happened, those relationships became non-existent anyway. So there's very few, maybe less than a handful of people that I may communicate with, um, that are from the old neighborhoods I grew up in. So that's what happened with those people.
Okay. Brother Locast.
Okay, that's where it's interesting for me. I did everything locally. I stayed home. But I do regret it. I do believe that if I could have done it again, if I was able to, I would leave. And I take that with me when I'm talking to children all the time, usually when they don't, you know how it is with high school students, seniors. They don't know what they want to do, but I always encourage them, you got to go, leave. I don't care what you do, leave. But I do regret it, but I did leave for a good while, but I ended up coming back home ultimately.
Brother LAR.
When it comes to that, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some of my friends, I keep a small circle anyways, but a few of my friends from Chicago, we still tight. A few of my friends from Southern, we still tight. When I went to Texas Southern, I really stuck to myself. So I knew a few people I still talk to every now and then, but you know, it's kind of mixed bag because if I rock with you, I rock with you. So all of my friends, we all like, we cool, but we all grown, so we catch each other very sporadically. But it's just like picking up like where you left off.
Okay. Brother Epic.
Like I just had mentioned it a little bit in my last statement, but see, I went to barbering school here before I actually started at the University of Memphis and got my barber's license. So me being a barber and being around hustlers, this just came in 2 and 2. So like I said, and I'm in my hometown too. So that was yeah, I should have never came back to Memphis. I was homesick, but wasn't homesick enough to be interfering. I wasn't homesick enough to be making it neglect me doing good in school and taking my education serious at first like I should have. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say to it, man. If I could do it all over again, I'd go somewhere like when I was in the military and go somewhere where nobody don't know me and I can start over. It won't be too many more distractions.
Wow. Everybody has my story. Okay. Dr. G.
I think I'm a little bit different. As I mentioned, I had my son already, a 2-year-old, you know, when I enrolled in school. And so leaving for me wasn't an option. My support system was here, you know, and his dad. And so I couldn't just pick up and leave. And even thinking about it in retrospect, I wouldn't do anything differently. I can't imagine doing anything differently because who would that make me today? You know, it's hard to say that I would have gone away to school. Now, I will say this. I did initially enroll to go to Jackson State in Mississippi. I was going to do that, but I ended up going here locally because it was just a better option for me at the time. But I can't imagine changing my decision because then I would be somehow changed, and I just don't know what that would mean.
Wow. My aunt pledged AKA in Jackson State.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna bring on one of our panels one time if we get past the Southern voice. It's stronger than Epic's.
Right. So when we made a change, maybe I would have had an accent because I certainly would have gone south. I would have gone HBCU for sure if I was going to leave. You know, I would have needed to be around our people mostly. But yeah, I can't imagine leaving and what that would have done.
Yeah, she's a major too. And she's in the Army. So yeah, I think yeah, I'll bring her in. But all right, brother DC. Did you stay? Did you go? Going once, going twice.
Yo, can you, man, I keep muting myself, man. You know, you mute your anyway. Yeah, so I left, man. Like I said, I went to school in Virginia, so Southern Virginia. So that's at least what 2.5, 3 hours away. So it's just far enough and close enough to where, if I still wanted to get home, I could if I needed to. As far as like things that changed when I went home, I lost my brother, man, while I was in school. My older brother got killed. As I was going into my sophomore year, and I can remember that I wanted to go home immediately, but of course, I was talked out of that. Um, so I can say this honestly. I'm glad that I was away because technically, if I wasn't away, um, there's a real serious chance that I probably would have never went back to school. So that's definitely the case with me.
Wow. Now I got a nice one for you, a nice good one. As far as college people finishing school just to be bougie, elitist, all these different things. How do you deal with that conversation? Do you address it or do you claim it? What say you, low cast?
Oh man. First of all, I come from a bougie background, somewhat. For me, life now is a little bit humbling, but I do see the characteristics of in some of our people, and quite a few of our people, where we kind of break into these groups and we kind of, I guess, we separate ourselves from from our own identity somewhat, or we like the echelon thing. But I will say this here: the bottom line is I'm grateful for who I am now, because at least I'm able to see the world a lot bit different than what it is in my own personal ambitions. That's all I got to say.
Brother LAR.
I'm not really bougie, so it's for me. It's really nothing. Like uh, to go to college and graduate. It's like going to the military and hitting a certain state. You discipline yourself long enough to complete a task. But sometimes I think you have to separate who graduated, because even if somebody graduated and they're proud of it, you know, it depends. That debt is holding a lot of people back. You know, so it just depends on the type of person. Like, some people graduated from good institutions or great institutions, and they proud of themselves. I don't necessarily see those people as bougie. Other people went places and they got degrees just to say they got it, but what is it? Sally Mae, Fannie Mae, she on your head. So to me, this is a mixed bag. I think salute to anybody who completes anything, but it doesn't necessarily make you better than the next person.
Yeah, and shout out to brother Tony Smith. Thank you for your donation, brother. Brother Epic.
When you say bougie, that term been used out of context so many times. So it depends on actually who's saying it. I mean, I've been called bougie, and most people know I ain't no bougie nigga, man. It's some people call you bougie because simply you evolving. You just don't do the same old dumb shit you used to do back when you was a teenager or your early 20s and stuff like that. And just because you maturing, some people would consider that bougie. Yeah, I mean, you're not getting any better if you're doing the same thing you was doing 6, 7 years ago when you had a different mind state and you didn't have as much to lose, and you didn't have that many responsibilities. Like me, I have 4 children, a little boy and 3 little girls. So no, I'm not finna come to all these random house parties and stuff like that because I already know what's gonna go down. Somebody probably gonna start shooting or get into a fight, and I'm actually looking into law enforcement. It's just I could not really be doing nothing up in there, and the police bust in. We got the people got weed everywhere, there's liquor everywhere and stuff like that. Probably some people underage drinking. I'm just gonna be guilty by association. So me separating myself from that type of stuff in Memphis, that's being considered bougie. To me, that's just maturing and that's becoming more of a man, handling your responsibility. So when people say that, I can pretty much give a damn. I don't really, I couldn't care less, man. But nobody ain't gonna say that to my face anyway because I'm still known for that little nigga with them hands, though.
I heard that, brother. Dr. G.
I agree wholeheartedly with Epic. It's about evolution. And why would you go through a process like college in the American system and not learn how to maneuver through the American system? And what that requires is situational appropriateness. You have got to know how to code switch. Now, you can call it bougie if you want to, but I know how to go into the boardroom just like I know how to go onto the football or the basketball court. Either way, I fit in. So I don't call it bougie as much as I might call it, I don't know, bougetto.
Can I say something about that?
Go ahead.
Dr. G, I'm glad you stated that, but here's the problem.
Oh, you see a problem?
A lot of us.
Okay, let's hear the problem.
Not you, sister, not you. A lot of our people do get stuck in those characters and they never break them. When necessary, they don't.
I think that it's important that we remember that balance is important. When you go through the American education system, it doesn't teach you that it's important for you to return to your neighborhood or that you give back to your people or that you bring your people along. It doesn't teach you that. It merely teaches you to go into the system further and deeper and wider, and so we really need each other reminding us what the purpose of us going through this system is supposed to look like. I mean, I know what you're saying. People forget who they are. They forget where they came from because they have, like Vicky Diller like to call it a BS degree, quote unquote BS degree.
I know.
But right, because we have our little BS and MS and all these things. Now we're somebody. When you look at it as a system overall, it really hasn't made that much of a difference. Sure, you can go out here and earn your money, but how much equity do you really have in America with or without these degrees? So I just think that we have to be willing to remind each other, and we just mustn't forget the degree is for you to have more access, but it's not going to make you different than your people. It's not.
True.
Yeah. So the other question would be, have anybody ever got like a strong pushback as far as in the going to college, period? And how do you?
I'm sorry, you guys. Can you guys hear me? Like, I just have an overlap. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't know whether I'm on or not, or if anybody can hear me. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, we can hear you, sister.
Oh, hey everybody. Thank you, Art. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So dang, where's this thing at? Okay. So anybody ever had a strong pushback on either, going down the journey that you guys went through?
I'm just gonna give it a short answer. Yeah, there were some. I'm not gonna go into details right away, but yeah.
Okay, LAR.
Absolutely not. They was like, "You gonna get out the house? Cool."
I never had them from family though.
Okay. Epic. Okay, we'll get back to him. Dr. G, did you get any strong?
Oh, my fault. I was on mute, man. My fault.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. In Memphis, man, I had quite a few pushback. Like I love the city, man, but they got a real crabs in the crabs in the bucket mentality here, man. It's a lot of indirect shot. It's like if you on the same level as somebody, y'all pretty much cool. But the moment they see you going uphill and you're not trying to outshine them or something like that, man, it's like people start taking little shots. And that's when I really learned, that's when my circle got even smaller. I really learned who my friends were after I came back and stuff. Because, your real friends want to see you doing good, if not better than them. So I got a little indirect little pushback, man. Like, oh, you one of those educated niggas and all that type of shit, man. So it don't too much bother me, though.
Wow. And you got Dr. G?
No, I don't remember getting any pushback. Not really, not at all. Mm-mm.
Okay.
But I didn't really find myself having to change my circle either. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think so.
Yeah, and plus the other attachment to it is have you heard any pushback as far as people going to college in general? And what do you say to that?
Oh, well, ironically, if I can say it real quick, I might offer a little bit of pushback because I want to encourage our people to be very strategic about making that decision and inheriting the debt. I want to encourage you to be very strategic because a lot of these different things, you might look at it and figure out a way to pursue it and get into what you're doing without it. Now, if you have to have it, then you just have to. But if it's not something you have to have, I would just caution us all to really look at that debt variant because it's important.
And I wanted to piggyback off of what Dr. G is talking about. As a matter of fact, I initially got on. I'm not going to stay on too long, but there was a brother on here too where he was saying that he didn't do that well in school or whatever the case may be. And I wanted to say to him before I, piggyback on what Dr. G is saying. So far as that is concerned, look. When those things happen to you, I know it's years later and all these other things, but you do have little black boys that are still going through that, and they try to make it seem as if they're dumb. And the first thing that they want to do is put them in special education classes. They've been doing this shit for I don't know how long. But again, these individuals that are teaching and this system that is supposed to be teaching us, they know that what they're teaching is not the truth. It's not real history. You understand what I'm saying? It's not acclimated to make sure that you are getting ahead or you're getting what you need. So just like the rest of the panelists said, there was nothing for you to feel bad about. There's nothing for you to even be saying that you didn't do so well in school. Truthfully be told, that's not a bag that you should be holding, sir. I don't know your name, but I just wanted to say that to you. I think as the adults, especially when we start to reach us as black people, when we start to reach a certain age, we still have these things in our mind because of the system that we come out of that we should have been here or we should have been there. No, that's not even what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Again, we have to understand that everything we go through has been orchestrated by someone else. We don't have the control. Okay, we don't have agency. It just what it is. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, especially black people, because we tend to have an ideology of being on fantasy island. We want to believe that we have agency and we can do what we want. No, we cannot. And that's just what it is. Now, piggybacking off of what Dr. G just said, that is completely correct. You understand what I'm saying? You have people out here right now. You have whole black families out here right now that are not making any money. Do you understand how much black people are worth in New York and across the country? But you have these aspirations that you want your child to go to Princeton and wherever else, and wherever whatever they call Ivy League schools. But then when you get there, you can't afford it. You're still in debt. So they're not giving you the same programs to get rid of debt that they're giving everyone else, or the same things like nepotism and all these other things. Those things are not meant for you. So basically what you're going to have is debt, because that's damn sure what I had. And all I did was go to school for bachelor's. You understand what I'm saying? Because I looked at it then and I said, do I want to continue to keep putting up this BS? Hell no. I was going to do a master's in social science. You understand what I'm saying? And then I was thinking about maybe doing a PhD, but then I thought about it. I was like, this is some bullshit. Let's just call it what it is. Bullshit. So thank you, Dr. G, for saying that.
Okay. Thank you, Sade. Sister Zakia, how do you deal with that when you have anybody giving any kind of strong pushback as far as going to college or anything like that? Have you ever had that conversation?
I've definitely had that conversation plenty of times because, first of all, where I'm at right now and the debt ratio I'm in, yeah, that's a huge concern and a huge conversation that I've had with people in regards to what I'm doing, and even working in the educational field right now because I do teach adults at this time. And I'm an advocate for education because I truly believe that educating yourself and making sure that you're knowledgeable about things is the best way to enhance your life, live your life, and everything else. And I do understand too that there's other ways of educating yourself. You don't necessarily have to go to college or university and educate yourself in those ways. But I think the structure of it does help a lot of us out as far as and I'm going to say that's for anyone. It helps a lot of people be able to learn and educate themselves. But as far as getting a pushback for it, I'm always advocating it and I'm always fighting that pushback because like I said, I do feel for me it's important. It is important to be educated in today's society and also in the future. So.
Okay.
Mm.
Somebody else have to ask something on
If you do your mind,
Go ahead, brother.
this gonna take a little bit. I'm not gonna be on here long as much longer though, because I actually have to go. But I advocate for people to go for the experience, but to know what you're getting into. To see a lot of what I learned even when I was there and after I graduated and left was a lot of people
I'm sorry. Can you tell him to speak up,
don't.
please?
Hold
Oh,
up, hold up, hold up. Let me see. Is this better?
yeah, it's a little
Is
clear.
this better?
Yeah, let it
Okay.
flow.
All right. What I would tell people, I would advocate for them to go, but know what you're getting into. What I learned was when I went to college, a lot of people, a lot of young men and women did not know what they were getting into because their families didn't really tell them. I would tell them flat out, if you're on the campus and you sell a credit card stuff, that's because you ain't got no debt. They're trying to charge you up. Because a lot of times the students don't realize if you can't go there and just have fun without a direction. Know what you're going to do, know how long it takes, know how many hours it takes, know how much that costs, and know how much you're gonna make when you leave. But what winds up happening is we don't tell each other about wanting to have a grown up lifestyle as a college student. It's a good thing to be a broke college student. And I saw a lot of people when I was younger, actually they didn't necessarily go in debt because of tuition. They went in debt because they wanted a nicer apartment. They wanted a nicer car. They wanted to pay for spring break with some of their student loan money. They got a credit card for this, that, and the third. They wanted to shop. They wanted to be fly. And now all of that extra stuff is actually what got them. One of the first speeches I heard before I even got on the campus was a guy went to Tulane, and everybody, he was like, I want to say he's like valedictorian, whatever you call that. But he said, man, I know y'all happy for me, but I'm $250,000 in debt and I just graduated. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And that changed me as a person before I even got on a campus at school. And a lot of people don't realize, it's not all fun and games all the time. And I say that I'm gonna scale back from that and say when the ladies are talking about the education with the brothers, I will advocate even for the young men. Sometimes you have to get. It's best to get treated unfairly when you're young. The problem is a lot of people don't have anybody to talk to about getting treated unfairly when you're young. That's part of the reason why men advocate boys to get into sports. Because one of the major things about sports is when you're at home, it's your advantage. When you're away, you have every disadvantage in the sport. You have to get accustomed to the world not liking you. Because they won't like you as a kid, they're not going to like you as a grown man. But if you learn that mentality and you take it out to the world and get a higher education, you're gonna understand immediately that the school don't love you. The school just needs you to make money. So don't act like they're your friend. You know. But that's just my opinion on it.
Okay. Now, I want to add on too, because some people don't realize some of us sit on financial aid workshops and college commissions and things like that, and even set policies for different schools and districts. And you have what you call the MOUs and stuff like that, where they have the relationships between the districts and the colleges and the states, districts and all that. One thing that I always know, because I'm always trying to figure out what's going on with this financial thing, and I was trying to find out about scholarships being available. So there's a long list of scholarships that are available. A lot of them are not really claimed, but you know who claims them? Africans and other foreign people. And then the other part too was that the reason why some of them not as clear as far as being available is because I was told that not enough people apply, so it lowers the demand. So just FYI, just in case, people start wondering things are not really available, you just got to apply. It doesn't, just because you apply doesn't mean that you're going to,
But that's the thing, Art. It has been proven that at a lot of these schools, and also in particular, one I can actually think of that comes to mind. Darn, it just left my head. It's a it's a HBU. It's a supposedly black school. But they have been shown to be, thieves and whatever else, and not distributing the monies and the programs where they're supposed to go. This is something that has been going on for a while, that you have a lot of these foreign individuals who come over here, and just because their skin looks like ours, they get to claim African American, but they're not. And then they take programs that were supposedly for us, specifically for us, and they use them for themselves. And then when it comes time, if we beat the so-called odds and go to school, because again, we don't have the money to go to school, then that's when you see where there's nothing left for us in a program that's supposed to be for us.
Okay. So I have anybody else want to touch on this before I go? We're going to do a few more questions and then end out the panel. Anybody else want to touch on this? Okay. All right. So because some of you guys covered a lot of stuff that was in my questions, so I got to skip down. Has anybody ever been accused of flaunting their education among others? Zakia.
Maybe so. As far as being in the educator role, I have a lot of students because first of all, with teaching adults, the ages range from coming straight from high school, so 18-year-olds, all the way I've taught as old as maybe like 70, 75-year-olds. And with that being the case, a lot of the older students look at me as if I'm a baby, like, what do you have to teach me and what makes you qualified to teach me? So a lot of times I do have to break it down as far as what I've done, as far as my education. And some people do get offended when I start talking about what my education is, my educational background. Some people do get offended by that because, I may flaunt it, but shoot, so I'm paid enough for it to want to flaunt it, to do whatever I can with it. Shoes, it's enough. I've put in a lot of investment in this, hard work, tears, sacrifice, man. So yeah.
All right, Sister Sade.
At first, when I was working at the high school in the Bronx, I was accused of that. But then I actually had to speak to the parents, specifically the black parents, and let them understand that I got this degree not for myself. It's not about just what I can get and how I can shore myself up, but I actually decided to do this degree. This is exactly what I told them. I said I did this so we could have a stronger a stronger base and have community within amongst ourselves. Because if it's just the type of thing where you know I got to get mine and you got to get yours, this is one of the problems that we have. We consistently think about ourselves, and not the whole, and not you know us as a community, even though we really don't have one. But that's one of the reasons why we don't.
Okay, Brother Lowcast.
I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
Okay, Brother Epic.
Only when someone can't, I guess he can't defeat me in a debate. I've noticed that, 'cause like I said, I'm a barber, and when certain topics come up, if I'm knowledgeable about it, hey, I'm gonna spit what I know. If I don't know what I'm talking about, or if I just got an opinion on it, I let that be known. But I noticed a person that has told me, "Oh, you think you know it all," is when he couldn't defeat me in the conversation. So all of a sudden, because what I was saying was logical and it was accurate, and he can pull it up. That's, you know, who's in the barbershop telling him, you know, anybody can pull this up. I don't care where your source come from, depending on the source still. You can pull it up, anything I'm saying, then now, oh, I know it all because I defeated you in an intellectual conversation, man. To me, those type of insecure people be getting on my nerves, man, because sometimes I just got to tell people, man, listen, you suffering from intellectual masturbation right now. You're just trying to say some stuff just to say smart, or you don't know what the hell you talking about. It's levels to this shit. It's kind of like me trying to give Bill Gates financial advice. What the hell can I tell this man?
Right.
Yeah, and I can't help that if I'm studying in history. This is what I'm planning on teaching one day. I know about this topic more than you. I don't care if you're older than me. I still more knowledgeable about this topic now versus somebody younger than me that's going into chemistry or even psychology. I don't know how old LAR is, but psychology. If I say something and me knowing that, and I stand on my opinion, but me knowing that he is more knowledgeable about this subject, I would shut up. And I would acknowledge this man. Yes, he know what he talking about more than this to me. It's just people need to get out their feelings about, oh, you trying to flaunt your education, man. No, shut up. Everybody want to be equal. That's not the world we live in. If I go to Dr. G class, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to listen to Dr. G on her damn topic because she's been doing this longer. She's always been studying this longer. So I'm not going to be in my feelings about, oh, she flaunting her education or something. No, this is what she's studying. This is what she do. So to me, that just comes from insecure ass people, man.
Dr. G, I know you got one for this. Dr. G?
You on mute, Dr. G.
I'll say this is that for me, you like I said, I've just had to just learn to just accept things for what they are with people. Now, with me dealing with some people who have less than I do, that's all I got to say. It's just that it can be just that nauseous. But most of the time, dealing with most people, you know, they're willing to. I don't really have too many of those problems with other people. But usually when I'm dealing with people who are, I guess I wouldn't say beneath me, but you know, folk who don't have it, it some kind of way it has this intimidation that you didn't bring to the table, you know? And I've had to learn over time, you know, just kind of keep your personal stuff and you know, don't say too much. You know, don't flaunt.
Yeah,
You know,
I learned
and it's sad to say that it's that way because of some of our folk. I realize, and this goes back to me because I've talked to people who I thought had less than me, and you're talking to them and they're looking at, well, I got a master's in such and such and such, and when they finally start talking, and you're like, okay, you know, I'm not intimidated, but it's just one of the things you kind of feel how some people might feel for a moment, you know, how some people may painfully feel, you know. And I think what it happens a lot of times is that with some of our folk, it causes a moment of reflection.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's pride too, man. Some people just can't say, hey, you right, man. Hey, matter of fact, you got me on that one. You right. Point blank, period. It's just too much pride to say this person is more knowledgeable about this topic than me. I don't have too much pride to say it. If I know you more knowledgeable, hey, I'm gonna give props where props is due. Hey, that's what's up, man. I appreciate that. To me, that's just a lesson.
Yeah.
If everybody, I always agreed on if everybody around you is agreeing with you, then you're not learning nothing because ain't nobody trying to challenge you to step outside your comfort zone.
That's right.
True, very true. But personally, I take this here, man. Over time, I've had to learn how to be humble in ways that I never imagined I had to be. I will say this here is that the bottom line is I learned that you just have to just respect people for whatever station they're in life. And I've also had to accept, to take a sensitive approach towards people, if that make any sense, towards people who are, a little underneath you sometimes. And I usually leave it, especially when they're older. I mean, it's painful for older, to deal with older people who you have more credentials than. It's that's why I said sometimes with them it's like a moment of reflection for them. Well, I could have did that too,
Dr. G, you back? Okay. So I'm gonna throw some meat out here now. I should have did it earlier, but I was trying to get through some of the questions.
Yeah, we know you was hoarding all the meat.
So I'm gonna throw it out here. How is this? Could your college experiences affect your dating choices and practices?
Yes, it does. I mean, it can attract some and it can repel some, depending on where you at.
Yeah, feel free to share.
I'm not gonna share right away, but hell yeah, it can hurt. Especially if it. I will say this here: I've had the privilege of being the acquaintance of some high up women, some powerful women. And I will say for me, it usually sometimes in most cases it'll be me kind of with the recoil, like no, because you feel like things are a little bit out of your hands, a little bit out of your control. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Let's go around. Zakia.
I guess that is a good question. I'm gonna say this. I think life in general has been molding me as far as the dating choices now at this point in time in life. Yeah, it's kind of. I don't think academically. It affected me at one point when I was younger, but now at this point, yeah, it's a totally different ball game. I think it's more so affected by life at this point.
Brother Henry.
Or repeat that question for me one more time, bro.
Okay. Let's see. Can your college experience affect your dating choices and practices?
Yeah, it's whether I like it or not, it got its positives and negatives, but yeah, it has affected it because I can't lie, man. For a while, man, I'm just I was dating the ratchets, man. I was just messing with the ratchet women, man. Just getting it in, just trying to have some fun, man. And it seemed like those type of women likes a certain type of guy. Since I wasn't thugging no more and all this stuff, for a lot of the women, I didn't come off as attractive anymore. But that's all fine and stuff like that. I was started being considered a squirrel a little bit. But on the positive note, though, man, it made me step up my caliber of woman I started chasing, though. I like to talk about stuff other than sex and rappers all the time. I wanna hear your thoughts on the free world. I want to hear your thoughts on politics and how do you feel about certain stuff that's going on within history. You feel just conversation that can make you think outside the normal box, man. So yeah, it had its negatives and positives, but I say mostly positives though. And to me anyway, but it's definitely go affect it because college go change you as a person regardless. So it's go affect it whether you want it to or not.
Dr. G, are you back? She's still not back. And Sade, we'll take a crack at it.
Can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry, bro.
I'm glad I don't need glasses. Let's see. Could you say your college experiences affect your choice, your dating choice and practices?
Yeah, that's not really an issue that I really talk about on YouTube. But I will say this: for me, this whole discussion, on educated lanes and all that dumbass foolishness, I'm not really into that. Because again, whether you have a college education or not, just because you have one does not mean you can't be a duplicitous, disgusting, ignorant moron. So let's just put it that way.
I love it. Okay. The other thing too, I want to find out, how do non-black people treat you once they discover that you have a certain level of education?
Oh, that's easy, man. Oh, that's easy. Oh, you in the house. What you talking about? Y'all should know that by now. We in the house with that.
I just want to hear from y'all.
I'll go first.
We in the house. They like us. We're exceptional, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, you're one of the good ones.
No, you're an exceptional.
You're not like the rest of them.
Yeah. There you go.
The Django style, exceptional nigga.
Or they'll look at you with some shit like this. Well, God damn it, Negro. How did you get past all of those goddamn obstacles I put in your way? Your people are bottom caste and you have no money. So how the hell do you have a degree?
Well, you're not like the rest of them. I'm glad you're able to understand where I'm coming from.
As soon as you leave the room, they call us like, okay, he's leaving right now. Call him right now. Hurry up.
Or they refuse to acknowledge the degree. Like I have to remind people that I'm doctor, and I only do that in certain environments. I don't pull that card with my people. But when I'm outside of my environment with my people, you're going to recognize me as doctor, and you're going to treat me as such. But they have a hard time remembering, oh, I'm sorry. That's what you get.
Get him, Dr. G. I love her. She said I remember you saying you used to do that shit to them. I would love to be a fly on the wall to see that shit.
What about Epic or Zakia?
Zakia, go ahead.
As far as I can just think back to this conversation I had with one of the higher ups in my job. When I told him, what I had studied. Oh, well, you can do this and you can do that. Wow, that's wonderful. Because a lot of people in my job, which is quiet as kept, even though we're educators and we train people in the field of a specialized skill, a lot of them don't need education for it. So that's not a real requirement. They just have to work in the field, which is crazy to me. Some of them are very highly educated and some of them not. So when I go back and tell them, where I'm at, yeah, it's a totally different look in their eyes. That's how I'm going to put that there.
Okay. Epic?
Well, it depends on the nationality of the person, but being a history major is when you say history, people, I seem to notice people automatically believe you know everything about they people or something like that, or you specifically studied them. But yeah, they do treat you kind of different. It depends on location. Some treat you like they think you a uppity nigga, what they call it or whatever. But some treat you as, they give you respect, especially as a black man, since black men supposedly don't go to college like that and stuff like that. So I ain't just had too much pushback with non-black people as far as my education and stuff like that, because I really don't give a damn. Like me, it's just certain stuff I don't think about, because as a black man, I'm used to the worst racism involved, so I really don't give a damn. That's just how I put it, just simple as that, man.
Well, I'm going to ask a very general question. Do you really see a difference between getting a job with a degree versus one without it?
Yes.
I said that shit.
So really,
can I go first, please?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please.
You got it.
I've literally seen it, right? Because again, and I wanted to go first for this particular reason. I spent a few years working in HR, and it, you know what I mean. I did low level, mid level, and high level HR as a manager. And I can't tell you how many times that just the regular blow schmo, you know what I was about to say, the K word, but I'm gonna go ahead and just say a Caucasoid. And how many times they would come in to the office and they would want certain positions and they didn't even have a high school diploma. But yet, if that had been us, we would get our black asses laughed out the front door.
Oh no, they get them regardless sometimes. Oh, they'll get
You know, no, but see, that's what I'm saying. They don't even have a high school diploma. And what I'm saying is, yet we're even for the most low level positions, we're expected. I mean, think about it. You just even expected to have a goddamn diploma, a high school diploma. They could come in there without it. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just a thing of, okay, well, you're supposed to just give this to me. But black people don't think that way. But most times we don't anyway. We're just loaded down to the hilt with every kind of degree you can think of. And yet I've literally known people with doctorate degrees in science who haven't worked in like freaking 5 years. So that, I've seen this firsthand, and I saw it for like the duration of the, what was it, almost 10 years that I was in HR. It didn't make any goddamn sense to me. I'm still disgusted by it.
Go
ahead.
Do you can you say that there's a difference between getting a job with a degree versus without?
Yeah, there is. To elaborate on it, there is a difference. That's about the easiest way for me to say it at the moment. But I will say this much, is that I do see where there are people who are not. I've seen with people. I'll put it this way. Let me just give you a better example. I've been working for the same organization now for a good while now. And I've been passed up for opportunities that I qualify for, but they've always replaced me with. They've always not replaced me. They've politely overlooked me for people for somebody else who looks like them for those positions, even though I qualify for them. And I've been basically stuck in the same location, in the same position. And I don't find it fair that because I work in this organization that I would have to completely remove myself from the organization in order to get an advancement. I don't think that's fair, but it happens all the time.
Brother Epic, are you on mute?
I think let me see.
Yeah, I was on mute, man. I really can't answer that question because I'm still finishing my degree right now. So, but as far as what I've seen, I have seen a lot of African American men and African American women that have gotten looked over for a person that's non-black, even though their credentials outweigh theirs by 20%, by 20 times over, man.
Typical.
And I've seen that a lot. But as far as firsthand experiences, I don't got my degree yet. I just can't really answer that far as directly.
Okay. Dr. G.
So the question is, has it made a difference having the degrees?
Do you see a difference with people getting a job with a degree versus without?
Okay, so for me, having been a school principal, I have to admit I'm always looking for credentialed people. I'm looking for people who have the credentials as well as the experience. Sometimes experience is more important than the credential, depending on what I'm hiring for. So I will say that. In my own life, my credentials have helped me to be able to make a way out of no way. I can say that. I worked for a trade college that actually just closed its doors in December. We were working on Friday. Went home. Everything was fine. Came back to work on Monday, only to be told the building was closing. Get all your stuff before you leave. Okay, so it was literally no warning whatsoever. It was only because I have my credentials that I was able to create an opportunity for myself and still work and not have to be unemployed as a result of what happened with that company, So I don't know if I've lost any opportunities because I had it or didn't have it. I really can't say, but from a personal standpoint, my credentials have helped me. And when I'm hiring, I will typically look to hire someone who has credentials over someone who doesn't, depending on what I'm hiring for. Sometimes experience is much better than the credential.
Hey, Dr. G, I want to ask you something. Have somebody ever told you overqualified?
I've never been told I was overqualified, but there have been opportunities I've applied for that I didn't get that I know I was qualified for. So that might have been the situation. I don't know. When these people tell me, you know, when I apply for things, or if I've applied for something and I don't get it, I keep it pushing because I just feel like what's for me is for me. The Most High God gonna place me right where I need to be. And I'm not really trying to get into the politics of deciphering if it was because my skin is too dark or if I was overqualified or underqualified. That was just an opportunity that wasn't for me. That's the only way I can really look at it, you know.
Oh, okay. When I was in the military and I took a career class when I was getting out, the guy said, a white guy too, he said, listen, don't let people tell you overqualified. He said, let me translate that for you. He said, what that really means is that they don't want to pay you for your work.
Right. And so to speak to that, Epic, I know that in there have been opportunities that I didn't get, and the person who got it was way less qualified. So in that instance, that means that from a pay standpoint, they will be paid less. Yeah. So saving the money, I get that, you know. I mean, but I've had to hire people and I've had to do things because human resources gave me a budget. This is what you have to hire from. And so to hire somebody with this amount of experience and these credentials is going to cost a lot more than hiring somebody right out of school. So I had to make a sacrifice, you know.
I got you.
So yeah. Yeah.
This is Zakia.
Wow, very interesting. With that, I can say this. I do have the credentials for a lot of things, but as far as I have a lot of skill. I have a lot of skill set as well. And with applying for jobs, I guess I've kind of been limited with applying for jobs because I was a family person, raising a family and all that stuff. So I would get the jobs that would be convenient for my family setting. Let's just say that. So as far as being overlooked or for the credentials or not having credentials and stuff like that, I can't really speak on that too much. But it's interesting what Dr. G said and what Epic just said, because I never knew that what they were saying is they just don't want to pay you your worth. So that was quite interesting, what you just put out there.
But see, that's the thing. I mean, that's what they always tend to do to us, and it's more than just from just a layman person. They even do it like even with people who are in the public eye. A lot of these black actors are getting paid $80,000 an episode, whereas when it comes to a white actor, they're getting paid millions.
Well, let me just piggyback off of that too. I'm going to say this because I'm an entrepreneur. So I set my own prices. I set my own stuff too with what I do as well. So yeah, that and that's probably one of the main reasons why I don't see it or feel it as much. But I can say as far as doing entrepreneurship, I do see a difference where people want to kind of pay you what they want to pay you instead of paying you what you're worth, and will go to the other side and pay them what they're asking for, but then not want to pay you the same thing if you were asking for the same thing and you were doing the same thing as well. So that's where I'm going to leave that.
It's this kind of well, I ain't gonna say funny, but this is a bad stereotype in Memphis. When especially for black women, they stereotype this in Memphis. When the black woman in Memphis say I'm an entrepreneur, even it comes from our community, most people automatically think she's a stripper.
Oh well,
but the thing is though is that now that's the first time I've heard anything like that.
I was
I've
just
never
letting
heard
you
that.
Yeah,
Well,
trust me, I
here
know.
that
I was
they
just letting you
don't.
know in
Let me
Memphis.
just say that I'm not one of those. They don't do that out here where I'm at in the Midwest. Yeah, well, I mean they have strippers, but they don't say they're entrepreneurs. I hope they're not using that term.
Yeah,
But
no.
I mean that I'm gonna say that may be a term of entrepreneurship for them because they are making their own money or whatever. But yeah, that's not what I'm doing.
But what I will say is this. I mean, when a black woman does say she has her own business or entrepreneur or whatever the case may be, I can tell you what is the truth is that most times she's the only employee because it's very rare when
Mhm.
you find a black owned business supposedly by a black woman or even a black man that they have more than one employee, and that's just what the facts are.
But it just depends on what type of business and what business
But
sector they're in.
we're talking about for the most part, usually black owned supposedly black owned business only has like one employee, and it's themselves. It's the sole proprietor who's the employee.
Well, you got to look at the age too. So that's another one.
True,
Um,
true.
so I got another. Dang, I supposed to be wrapping it up. Okay.
You know, you forgot. You always forgetting art.
Hey, it be getting deep sometimes, man.
I
love,
know, right?
I love these minds. I'm very addicted to knowledge. I don't know if you guys figured it out by now.
Oh no, I know.
Amen, brother.
I know, big
Amen.
brother.
I love knowledge.
Amen, brother.
But now here's one thing. Now this is we're just pretend like we're at a boardroom here. We got these degrees or whatever in this education, but then at the same time there's a consensus of some people that's saying, well, you don't need all this and that, right? Now, I'm gonna put this out here. If not college, how can we strengthen the numbers in raising black ownership and executives?
Okay.
Go ahead, Sade.
If not,
No. Go ahead. It's no big deal.
Okay, thank you. I'm a big endorsement of the Gray Faulkner initiative.
Oh
with
shit.
with Cerulean Gray and Charles Faulkner Jr. with pushing especially young boys into the military, police, and fire department. Why the military for me? Because I experienced this myself. Once you go into the military, that is more access to more wealth. Because now, listen, I got a VA home loan I can use, put zero down. I'm 31 years old. I already got a pension. They finna help me write up my grant to start my businesses. They put me through barbering school and now putting me through college, and they paying for everything and all this stuff. So, and I think the Gray Faulkner initiative is a good start in trade schools. I believe some people, let's just be honest, everybody is not fit for college, but some people can be very good in trade schools. That's why I really think they need to bring Votech back in a lot of these schools where, in high school you had home ec, you had auto mechanic, even had barbering and stuff like that. I believe we need to be pushing on trades because you don't necessarily have to have a college degree to gain some wealth out here.
And that's true.
I guess I'll say this. I do agree with a portion with I always forget your name, and I know exactly who you are. God damn it.
Epic.
Yes, Epic. Oh, because I'm just so goddamn bad with names. Damn it. Yeah, I will piggyback off a portion of what Epic said. I think that folks need to stop making college the litmus test of how intelligent you are or whether you're a good person. Because as I said before, you can have someone who is a Rhodes Scholar or whatever the hell you want to call it, and they're duplicitous and disgusting. They are wretched and they are smelly and they are ignorant. So college doesn't mean anything. Next thing is that again we need to stop thinking about this do for self type of bullshit. Because we again, like I said the first time, we do not have agency, and therefore these little get rich quick schemes and these little I'm gonna have my own business, and then you're the only sole proprietor. You don't have any employees. You're not employing anyone. You don't have any access to controlling a larger business of industries. Then you really need to sit down and be quiet. because again, you're not affecting anything. You're just doing something for yourself because again, you're thinking, okay, I got to get mine, you got to get yours. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, bro, big bro. I don't want to get started. I don't want you to, I don't want you to get me.
I'll speak on this one for a second. Having a desire to mentor is very helpful, and also at the same time, also having the desire when you don't know anything to be an apprentice. Those are two things that will work heavily in our community, but our best and our brightest don't always look to mentor anyone. And then our worst of the worst doesn't go looking for apprenticeships, or let alone even know how to be apprentice. What do y'all think about that?
I'm sorry. Who's that talking?
That's Lowcast.
Lowcast.
It is your brother.
Lowcast. Can you repeat that, please?
It might be
Dr. G. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that's pretty parallel to what I was going to say. I was going to say mentoring, but that's the same thing. I think that those of us who've already acquired these degrees, we need to go back and start teaching what we've learned and equipping our people to be able to do the jobs and the tasks without necessarily going into the college. Because the question was without college, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, like
Right.
if you took college off the table, I would be able to make executives and owners, black owners.
Right. Those of us who've already gone through it and who've already earned a certain amount of educational and intellectual wealth, go back into the community and start pulling your people up, teaching them what you know, and then they don't have to invest and they can do the work without the investment. That's what we were supposed to be doing anyway, and we got away from that. But yeah.
Right.
Hey, Dr. G, I definitely agree with you. But to be honest, like, I love my people, but God knows I'm so sick of these niggas.
Wow.
I know, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep pushing. No, I'm just giving it to you straight up how I said. I get so sick of how people sometimes, but I keep going. Like I said, I'm part of a program for mentoring and all this stuff and all that. But I'm just saying, I just get so sick of some of these niggas sometimes.
So you sick of us, huh? You run away from us? Is you running?
Here we go. You just
is you running, brother man?
You took it all out of context.
You don't have the message, you right?
Okay.
I understand that too.
I know what you mean. Epic. It's hard. Our mindset has become so warped, and it seems like it's just becoming more and more deficit. But I like to look at root causes, and when I look at real root causes, it's hard for me to blame our people entirely, because and Sade's been saying it. Without agency, without support, without backing, you can kind of fish out of water out here. Some of us are able to maneuver it, but we can't expect everybody to be able to beat these odds.
Yeah, it's very true.
And that's what
very true, Dr. G.
Built up to. Yeah, that's what the system was built to. It was built to keep the majority of us from being able to. Yes. We still cannot ignore root cause,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
That's true.
I point that out to people all the time. People are always pointing out the condition, but they never point out the cause. Trust me, I get that. It's just sometimes I got to take a step back because I still got to focus on that person in the mirror too sometimes. Because I've been that person. At one point in my life, I was so pro-black, and I was pretty much neglecting myself. I think my heart was going to get me killed because I was so quick to give a helping hand, especially in the environment that I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. So it's just certain points, the mentor, the person that's doing the teacher, sometimes the teacher got to take a step back and gather themselves. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's the thing too with the pro-black, because I don't subscribe to that. But someone else gave that name, and I don't. Yeah. Again, yeah. What I'm saying is I'm loyal to who looks like me, and that's just, it is what it is. Now, if you wanna give your thoughts and say that's pro-black, then that's on you. But that's not a term that I use whatsoever, because again, the shit that we've been through, it is what the fuck it is, and I'm not gonna make an excuse for it. And again, Must we bring it up? Yes. Every conversation I'll bring it up. Redlining, Brown versus the Board of Aid, lynching, all of these other things. No one has went through what we went through. I don't care whether you want to hear it or not. I don't care if you don't like it. That's your problem. Maybe you need to have maybe you need to get your nigga card, and then maybe you'll shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but far as all those titles, pro-black, black first, those, I'm to the point now. I don't care about no title. Call yourself. I'm pro Mars if you wanted to. I wouldn't care less. I'm just saying. I'm
prescribed for those to the pro-black label. I'm not giving you saying that's exactly why. I
don't get me wrong. That's what you. I place no judgment. I
like those titles, just to let y'all know.
I just look for good people with good morals and ethics, man. That's really trying to make a difference out here. That's all I want. That's all I focus on.
Now, I may not agree with their entire philosophies, but I do like it as an idea for some of us to define ourselves. I'm done.
Now,
to answer the original question, to go back there, guys, I just want to say this. I just believe we have to equip the youth, start equipping the youth to be able to do some things different, because with the education, like I said, education can come in many forms other than just going to college or going to university or whatever. You can educate yourself through just reading, through research, through different ways of finding knowledge. And with that being said, we have to equip our youth into doing that at this point, because a lot of our youth are so lost with focusing on the wrong things that we have to kind of redirect them and help them to get back on a path of finding more vocational things to do, things that will help build wealth within our communities and build wealth for themselves, so they can leave legacies for their future children and future for their future period.
Yeah, because that was the reason why I asked that question, because we don't have many Black executives and Black business owners like we used to. And if you would probably ask yourselves too, and I do compare myself with the competition. So I have no problem with that. The question would be, do you think other people like your Indians, Arabs, Asian, you think they have conversations like we do about this, where there's pushback and no pushback? Or how does it look compared to what we're doing? What are we missing out on?
Obviously, based on how some of these other cultures are structured, yeah, they've already had these conversations.
And so we're still at the table, or
I think we're still on the launch pad.
I think it's too many chiefs and not enough Indians in the Black community.
Okay, so I don't want to take up too much. I hear somebody.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm not sure that other groups have had to have these conversations. They don't deal with the situations we deal with in America. Why would an Asian group have to have this conversation? They come in and they're able to get everything they need. Why would any other group? We're the only group that has these issues. So I'm confused.
Dr. G, my level of intelligence is not like yours, and you can outspeak me any day, but I'm pretty sure they had these conversations almost 100 years ago. At some point, they had to have these conversations.
Oh, okay. I guess. Okay. All right. I got you. I understand that.
Yeah. Because my concern, that's why I put this panel together, because sometimes we talk about college, it turns out to be like a doom and gloom, rather than something where it's like we're not putting it to where certain people belong there and certain people don't. The people, like, for example, you have certain people that are in stores like Kroger's or whatever, and you talk to have a conversation, and they sound like they're supposed to be like the valedictorian at the college level. Where the people at college, some of them, let's be real, we all been there. There's some people there that don't belong there. So it seemed like we have to find a way to make connections to where we put people in positions to where they'll be able to do what they do best, what's in them. That's why I want to have this conversation to see what you guys see.
Mm-hmm. I gotta
Yeah, I
say
believe.
this too, Art. Just before everybody gets started, because I know your channel was new and everything, and I was supposed to, have a talk with you and a few other people, but I just wanted to say that you've been doing some good topics and you're doing a really good job with the questions. That's all I want to say. Go ahead, you guys.
Thank you.
No, I just think get away from this mentality that everybody is. I'm not politically correct, by the way, but still, we need to get away from this mentality that everybody is equal. Because, like I said, that's not the world we live in. It's different levels. Like, that's why I believe, like, the military be good for people. You got a general, you got a sergeant major, you got different ranks. You is not equal as a private. You is not equal to your captain. Your captain would tell you, shut the hell up and listen. I don't care if you think it's wrong. You still go do it this way. I believe we really need to learn how to follow more, because I had to learn that myself. We just really need to learn how to follow people more.
That's another thing too, determining the leaders and the followers.
I agree with that too. I really do. But the essence of being a good leader is understanding when it's time to follow. So
there you go. So we're gonna wrap it up. So I'm gonna go around and do the last words. Just give us some information on what you do and what you want to support. So we'll start with Sister Sophia.
And what would you like for me to say again?
Your Social Security.
Oh no, I can't give all that information now. I'm sorry.
Website.
I have none of that. I want to thank you for letting me join the panel. I appreciate it.
Do you have a channel or content you want to share or information?
You can follow me, Zykia C. I'm on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Check your channel.
Yeah, I'm building the channel now as we speak. So definitely go and follow me, Zykia C. Okay. I'll drop the link on there.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Good days, good.
When you drop it in, I'm a support.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sister Sade.
Man, I was in there cooking them ribs, and I ain't even hear nothing you said.
So you put ribs on us now, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Any you want to share any information with us before we head out? Like content that you're doing or any kind of events that you're doing right now?
Because I'm not a YouTuber, so if you want to check out any of my past uploads, then that's cool. But due to some things, I do lives every now and again. I just did one because they found I didn't want to say this because it just makes me want to cry. But the little girl Malia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they supposed to have been found her, so I did a commentary about that. So.
Okay, so yeah, we gotta put your can you put your link in the chat for your channel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Brother Locast.
I want to say, Art, thank you for having me on here. It's been a pleasure speaking with Dr. G again. Epic. Sade. Sade.
You better stop starting.
Thank you very much for joining us. And also LAR. LAR is always a pleasure to be on the panel with him as well.
It's flooded.
What's flooded? Are we flooded?
It's a board right there, dog.
Okay. Are you done, Dr. G?
What's going on, Doc?
It's flooded.
Give me a second.
Wow. Okay. Were you done, Locast? I heard it.
Yes, I am done because it's flooded. I know.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I done took you off mute and you're hearing all my background issues.
Well, at least
I apologize.
Thank God it was that. Okay.
Okay, so I'll just go real quick if that's okay, Art.
Okay, sister.
Thank you so much for the invite. I appreciate being able to do your panel, and I appreciate you respecting my opinion enough to continue to invite me. I would just say that, just on the end note, you guys, it's really important that we begin to do some self-reflection and just make sure that as we pursue higher learning, whatever it is, trade, military, college, that you do what's best for you so that you don't have to have setbacks that deal with getting into something that wasn't for you or something that you didn't, you weren't cut out to do. I think we could do a better job with our finances if we first stop wasting a lot of money making mistakes with our pursuits with education. And I think, too, that those of us who've already acquired the knowledge really need to do a better job of reaching back and doing that mentoring and helping our youth to better prepare themselves for what they might face when they're going higher ed. Again, whether it be trade, military, college, or whatever it is. My channel, you guys, is Catering to the Culture with Dr. G. If you haven't already, I would appreciate you joining my tribe and subscribing. And I look forward to doing more panels with you, Brother Art. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. G. And Brother Epic.
First off, Art, I sure appreciate the invite to the panel, man, and you respecting my opinions on stuff as well, brother. You ain't have to, because I'm a moderator on these YouTube streets. I haven't really started but my channel yet because I just feel like it's enough guys that's talking about the stuff I want to hit on. So I'm organizing here in Memphis, Tennessee, in the local neighborhoods, and actually trying to get stuff done. Actually trying to be active on these streets. I don't feel like I can't change the world until at least I can make a change with my city. So I just say I appreciate everybody's opinion on here, man. It was good talking. Low Cast, it was good meeting your brother, Sade.
Why you gotta laugh with it? I'm so done.
I'm glad I heard from Sade, because once you get started, I'd be like, here she go.
Mm-hmm.
Zakil, it's good to meet you. I was waiting for you to post your link down in chat, but yeah, I'm gonna follow you, see what you
It'll
got
be up there.
But yeah, man, hey, this your boy Epic. I'm gonna start YouTube probably sooner or later, but right now I'm just trying to organize, man, and I'm still getting personal stuff together myself. So I'm trying to organize here in Memphis right now.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead, my brother. Also,
Zakia is also one of my co-hosts, and I really appreciate her. If y'all want to find, you can also find on my channel as well. And she'll definitely be broadcasting soon again. But just to let y'all know, that's what's up.
Okay, I appreciate it. So once again, I'm gonna try to have a series of these kind of panels put together, because one thing I would probably try to encourage people to do, because for those people that are anti-college or whatever it is, I suggest that they start a channel that would come up with a better solution so they can coexist with people that are doing other things. Because I think usually they throw the trade there to try to wipe away the college conversation. I suggest anyone listening should do a trade channel. Okay, something like that. Something to where you can hear all of it rather than just trying to take away something just so that you can exist. I would say put it all on the table so we can all benefit. I mean, I really think that's important. That's why these conversations are necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to try to, well, not probably. I'm going to get a financial aid and a college counselor on a panel so that people can start learning tips on things that we're missing out on, so they can get all the directories of, scholarship, opportunities, things that we never knew where to find things. So I'm really going to start putting that out there, and even having Q&A, because that's the thing. A lot of us lose out because we just don't know. And some people that do know don't share.
Exactly.
So we as long as I'm around, I'm gonna try to put as much out there as possible. I know we ain't throwing chairs and calling people names, but we're just trying to make some executives, right? Some people that, because I'm telling you, I'm getting tired of seeing doctors that don't look like me, lawyers that don't look like me, judges, everything. I'm just looking like, dang, I'm feeling like I have claustrophobia or something. We need to make some kings and queens more, to the letter, rather than just trying to imagine it. So that's all I had to say. But thank you everybody for coming through. Shout out to Cocaine Kales. Shout out to Sade. Appreciate it. Shout out to Zakia, Brother LAR that came through, Brother Locast, Brother Epic, Sister Dr. G in the building. And then we have crew in there. We have Just Act Sharp. Please subscribe to her channel. O'Shea Lennox came through. Let's see. We have Brother Tony Smith. We have, you guys are typing their butts off in here. Drama Club, DJ Moz Philly Mozzie, Six Figure Days. Albert Bird came through. Appreciate it. King Wage, Huey P. Nuisance. Was it Double C Adults came through. Sweet Jones. Monique Hills, my sister. Naima Buckner, known as Philly's Finest, or Miss Les, T-Mac, Joe W. I think I covered everybody. I hope I didn't miss anyone because I got to run. But thank you everybody for coming. And tomorrow I'm going to do another live, and it's going to be your favorite, Sade. We're gonna deal with pro-Black Latinos. So
really, you just gonna mess with me, right?
I might even throw you on a panel so you can go have it out with this dude. No, I'm joking.
No,
we're gonna kidnap you and have you, what's that? Speak your speech.
No, I don't even know what to say.
But yeah, so tomorrow around 7:30 Pacific. His name is Malik. You've seen him on Sonetta. And some other, I just remember Sonetta, so that's where I saw him from. His name is Malik, and he's going to break some things down, and I hope you guys show up. Hopefully no other streams won't be taking too much away from me like now. But thank you all for coming, and y'all have a blessed Saturday.
You too, Art.
Y'all take care.
Bye.
About the industry.